We are starting with the audio test using Samsung Galaxy S23 Fan Edition, using portrait video, the selfie camera in full HD 30 FPS. And this is the latest Samsung Galaxy S24 Fan Edition using the portrait video, selfie camera in 4K 30 FPS. Both phones has 50 megapixel main, 10 megapixel telephoto, and 12 megapixel ultra wide. So I think that's it for the quick portrait video and audio test. Now let's check some portrait shots. Starting with the widest field of view on portrait shot, which is 1x, you would notice that Galaxy S24 FE has more details on my shirt and on my face. It has better contrast too indoors, while the older S23 FE is brighter. Portrait shots looks really good on S24 Fan Edition, and it also has warmer white balance than the competition. Outdoors, you would notice that S23 FE has better exposure on the subject looking at my wife's face and shirt, and natural looking on the latest version. On 2x, I would say that the shots are closer. You still have better contrast on S24 Fan Edition, and you have smoother portrait on S23 FE. But on most shots, you would notice that S23 FE is more vibrant compared to the latest model. If there's one thing I like about these two phones is the edge detection. I think both phones are doing really good on this category. Checking 3x, you would notice that the distortion on the face is now gone and the tendencies are still the same. You got smoother and a little bit washed out S23 FE, while you have better details and natural looking in S24 Fan Edition. For anyone asking which phone do you think is better portrait mode, I feel like the natural looking S24 FE is better, but again, it's just a matter of personal taste. And looking at the white balance, you would also notice that on the 3 sensors, S23 FE is a little bit warmer than last year. On the selfie shot, it's crazy to think that they have the same hardware but different output. You would notice that S24 FE naturally blurs the background, so you would see that my wife is out of focus, which I feel is better. And again, looking at the face, I personally love the sharpness on S23 Fan Edition. It's also a little bit yellowish and natural looking on S24 FE. This is the selfie video test, starting with Samsung Galaxy S23 Fan Edition. As you can see, it's winter time right now in Canada. Now let's switch to S24 Fan Edition. I think there's just a little bit of difference on the color profile, natural looking on S24 Fan Edition. I think the biggest change is the 8K video recording. You have 24 FPS on S23 FE, and you have 8K 30 FPS on the latest S24 Fan Edition. You got the trifecta of ultra-wide main and 3x optical zoom. They also have pretty much the same sensors from last year, so the image quality is highly comparable. There's also more details on Galaxy S24 FE, and you will notice that in terms of color profile, it matches the colors in real life. While the boosted colors on S23 Fan Edition is also highly regarded, if you are posting a lot of images on social media, people will probably lean towards more on last year's colors.
When you slow it down, throw off the rules like our shoes on the golden ground.
I noticed outdoors on snow, you would notice that S23 FE is better exposed than the competition. Again, I think this is a difference in colors, a little bit brighter on last year's model, while it's toned down on the latest handset.
When you look at me, can you feel my...
And going through all the sensors, I feel like on the ultra-wide and the main sensor, it's a little bit better on S24 FE. And if you go to the farthest zoom, you will have better sharpness on S24 FE on 30x digital crop. On slow motion, we're comparing numbers here. I feel like the biggest difference is the resolution. You got 4K or UHD 120 FPS on the latest model. Now this is the quick video test, starting with the ultra wide lens. Both phones are shot using 4K 30 FPS. Look at the quality of the video. We're wiggling the phones a little bit for you to see the stabilization. Now we're switching to the main sensor. Again, look at the colors and the quality of the video. I think almost the same for both phones. And we have the 3x optical zoom. Again, looks like the same color profile and saturation. We're wiggling the phones a little bit for you to see the stabilization. Which phone do you think is better? On night shots, again, the images are almost comparable. Feels like the same phone, but I like how the latest model handles the flaring and the highlights. The older S23 FE is a little bit brighter, and just a quick note, I would say that these two phones doesn't have the best autofocus on night mode. There's variation of autofocus miss on both, because I would like to test this naturally holding these two phones, and naturally my hands will shake. Both phones honestly have a fair share of autofocus misses. But looking at the quality of the night shots for the fan edition, I think they can rival even the flagship lineup of Samsung. They're both pretty good. I think that the ultra-wide shots on S24 FE is better. It's almost the same look on the main sensor, but brighter on S24 fan edition. Look at the 3x optical zoom. This is the low light video test on both phones, starting with Samsung Galaxy S23 Fan Edition in 4K 30 FPS. It's a little bit wider at 25mm. Now let's check Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. And this is the latest Samsung Galaxy S24 Fan Edition, again in 4K 30 FPS. Which phone do you think is better? We're using the internal microphones of these two phones, so you would see audio differences. Now we're testing the rear camera, starting with the ultra wide lens. I think there's a difference in white balance. A little bit warmer on the older S23 FE. But if you look on the floors, you would see more details on the older S23 FE. Now we're switching to the main sensor. As you can see, it's a little bit brighter and better exposed on the latest S24 Fan Edition. Look at the sky. And we're also checking 3x. Again, better exposed on S24 Fan Edition. And we're zooming in to 12x. If you get the answers you need and you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Galaxy S23 Fan Edition is still a good phone this year. I feel like the shots are decent. You have good resolution from the video and the full HD is not so bad on slow motion, but aging? If you ask me if S24 FE is a good upgrade from last year's model, I think aside from the bigger screen and great performance, on the camera department you have a natural looking images, 4K slow motion, 30 FPS on 8K, and overall I think the image and video quality is better.